Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Norgon 111, and welcome back to Blueprints. I wanted to come back to the drafting studio because I wanted to take a look at this, because I was trying to think of other rooms where safes could be hiding. There appear to be possibly 3 small gates to this orchard and November, so November 3rd could definitely be a code. This is the drafting studio. We've already gotten all the new potential floor plans. I was looking around here, and the last time I even took a screenshot of some interesting looking ornamentation over there. But I don't know that I've tried to interact with all these blueprints or anything. I've looked carefully at some of the blueprints on the ground. This is just the normal artwork. Over here we have drafting strategy. This is volume 1. And I don't think there's anything particularly interesting. I think I went over this with a magnifying glass recently, and that's where we discovered Danja or Dauja. It's not Danja, it's Dauja, isn't it? It's D-A-U-J-A, in which case that is Final Day, I believe? Yeah, that's Dauja. I need to correct that in my notes. Okay, this was serendipitous, if nothing else. And, the red room's X. That's also the signature on number 8. The red letters that we received in the red envelopes. Let me correct that in my notes, Dauja. Okay, so that's interesting. I feel like we got some lore. I don't remember if I looked super carefully at these. This is a picture of the drafting studio that I'm currently in. There's even a figure sitting at this table looking at the plans of the Great Hall, it looks like. Because there's that little table, and there's that table and the stool. And yeah, there's the kind of ceiling that we're in. So it's kind of like a cutaway of that. I am curious to see if this is going to be a leap year. I speculated that the year is currently 1998. Based on some things, I guess based on the fact that 1998 would be where February 22nd was a Monday, if I'm remembering correctly. But that's what the Great Hall partitioning looks like today. It's actually the most straightforward it could be. There's a black pawn down here that I did have in my notes. There's this crazy object that looks like the type of crazy object that would wind up in Lost and Found eventually. There's a globe. It's just the usual globe. You can spin all the globes. The realms of the world are important. Oh! I get a prompt here. What room is this? This is... There's a big board. And also someone sitting at a desk. The big board is familiar to me. I feel like I took a screenshot of it recently. In any case, let's take a closer look. A very detailed paper model of a safe. Oh, and I can type in a code. Okay. What did I just say? 1103? Oh, rats. Let me try that again, because I don't feel like the presses necessarily worked. Okay, there's actually a safe in this room. But the thing that led me to look in this room again is this. Oh wait, small gates. There's gates back there, aren't there? So I think there's actually 5 gates, so let's try 1105. That's so funny. Okay, and I see, when I click on the magnifying glass, it immediately brings me here. So it's a good thing I had my magnifying glass. So, what did I just say? 1105. 1, 1, 0, 5. Enter. Maybe just the back 2 gates count? 1, 1, 0, 2. Enter. I'm not above brute forcing this. Are there any other clues in this room? If we count small gates, 8 dates crack 8 safes. Is there anything else? Like, I mean, this really feels like small gates. Let's look at it here, and let's look at it with the magnifying glass. So there's a gate. There's a gate. There's a gate. There's a gate. And there's a gate. Oh, look at this. 3 more gates. And those might be the small gates. I've already tried 3, though. So that would bring us to 8 gates. So this would be 1108. This is so ridiculous if this is what it is. But I kind of like it. 1108. That's it. Okay. It's letter number 5. Since I have the magnifying glass, I might as well. Alright, and it doesn't even give me like a next page prompt. It just gives me this. Okay, so I kind of need this to read it, I think. So, November 8th. Uncle, in a few hours, we are departing. As planned, we will be taking the old mountainous tunnels to the north. We'll go as far as we can by trolley until the rails give out. Then we'll proceed on foot until we reach the southern border. I've never been as excited, nervous, and heartbroken. I may never know if I've made the right decisions, but I've made the ones I felt my father might have nodded in approval at. I'm leaving a message for Simon here in the safe house, this unhallowed cabin that we have called home for the last year. If something should happen to me, please guide him to this place. Try to show him what these lost days were all for. So this has got to be probably Caleb or Philip who's in the safe house. Oh no, it's Mary. Explain to him, if you can, the intersection between foolishness and doctrine, the thin wire we stood upon, above the world, holding hands and throwing stones. Holding hands and throwing stones. In those days, we were guilty of everything. As always, Mary. Thin wire we stood upon, above the world, holding hands and throwing stones. That sounds important for reasons that I can't appreciate just yet. And basically that's it, but then yeah, like the safe is open, there isn't room for a gem in here, I guess. And it's just these 3 pages. Or, well, 2 pages and the note. And so this is from Mary. We got another red letter, we're up to 6. Ironically, like, I had not taken a screenshot of this for whatever reason, despite the fact that it's kind of clearly useful information. It was how I figured out to do the shelter, because I knew we were starting on Saturday, day 1. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad I had the magnifying glass when I came in here. And... Alright, so I started recording because this was the first interesting thing that's happened today. I actually did a day yesterday, day 107, where absolutely nothing happened that was worth showing on camera. Okay. In the dovecote that I just drafted, there's a box here. I never bothered looking around, apparently. I can magnify it, but I don't think that's important. Is this just an allowance token? No, it's a letter. Dear Mother, if you're reading this, that means Junie made it home safely. I imagine he's going to be quite tired after such a long flight, so make sure he gets some treats and rest. School is going well, though I do miss you terribly. Unfortunately, even though the dean gave me permission to keep my birds here on campus, I'm afraid it's getting a bit too cold for them as the semester marches on, so I've made the decision to send them all home before the winter months arrive. All that to say, expect some more letters soon. Dotingly, Mary. There's another page. Hold on. Hello, mouse cursor. Next page. Why does it go here next? I guess it's just shuffling through them. Okay. So, Herbert, thank you so much for your gift of the wedding doves. whom I, of course, recognized immediately. And yes, I got the hint, so here's your letter. I know it's long, long overdue. The Mayhew first house life suits me, I think. Not that I didn't love Mount Holly, of course, but after years of being confined in a tiny dormitory, the small place Daniel and I have picked out in Reddington feels more like a stately manor. Once we've finished, okay, and we've seen a picture of me wearing a train shirt on front of it, I imagine. Once we've finished unpacking and settling everything up, I insist on you making an exception to your reclusive lifestyle to come share a meal and admire our somewhat less impressive but much more personal view of the town. Thanks again for the card, Mary. There's dear mother. I don't understand. It looks like there's a third page here, but it's not navigating to it. Looks like there's even a fourth page. I think something might be wrong with like my keyboard. Can I click next page? Well, that's gonna get me the, can I click this? Here we go. Okay, got it. This should be the 5th letter you've received from me this month, though I know statistically it's very unlikely that every single member of my flock has found their way home. And please, please don't tell me if they didn't arrive. It's going to be hard enough knowing enough now that I am truly on my own. In other words, in other news, my classes have been engaging and I'm slowly making friends, so please ignore the dramatic despair of my previous letter. Things are indeed looking brighter, but I still maintain that 3 years is too long a time to be away from home. Okay. And, okay, I'm still struggling to click the next letter. So if I do Herbert here, can I click this letter now? I don't understand why my keys aren't working properly. Here we go. We are returning east and should arrive on Tuesday. If coast is not clear, lower the 8D to warn us. 8D? SD? Lower the... That might be iconography. We're returning east and should arrive on Tuesday. If the coast is not clear, lower the something to warn us. Okay, and so those are all the letters. And I don't know what to make of that. Do I see anything in the background? Or is it just all just kind of wrinkly pages? I don't think there's anything that I need to blow up, really. Okay. That was crazy. That was sitting here in the dovecote the whole time. So I need to make sure that I'm looking more carefully around rooms, because I managed to miss a safe in quote-unquote plain sight in the drafting studio, and this in the dovecote. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm trying to draft things out. I want to find the lost and found again is something else that I'd like to see, because it seems like maybe just over time, like more and more... let's go ahead and use my silver key here to see if I can branch. More and more rooms just become open. Oh, I'm going to run out of steps soon. Here's the lost and found. I do have some nice items in my inventory, but I'm not going to do anything with them, so I'd rather get a chance to see the lost and found again. I've lost my morning star. Alright, that's fine. Stopwatch is not that exciting. I'm not even going to bother to pick it up. Are there any new items in here? And it does not appear so. Who beep? Is there a coin sitting on the ground somewhere? Or is the stopwatch made of metal? The stopwatch is made of metal, I think is the implication. I was trying to decide if there was some rhyme or reason to when these things happen. It could just be time passing. I was thinking possibly on different ranks, but this is the first time I found Lost and Found on rank 9 as far as I'm aware. And there isn't something, and there's been 2 times that I have screenshots of finding it on rank 8. So that seems unlikely. And I don't think there's anything else to do in here. Alright. Well, I'm just going to draft out the rest. These are all the rooms that I wanted to find today, but maybe we'll get lucky finding something else that happens to be good today. For example, a good conservatory draw. Why am I taking this? I don't know. Oh, there's an apple over here. How nice. I almost missed the shovel right here in the conservatory. Not that it's really anything that I'm trying to dig up at this point. I'm in the courtyard, by the way. I can't remember if I talked about this before. There was something either in an Alzara prophecy or in a music verse that talked about trees inside don't cast shade, but the trees here inside in the courtyard, I guess you can just argue if it's inside or outside, do cast shade. Might have been in the greenhouse verse lines, actually. Alright, so regardless of whether it was a result of spending more hours reviewing my notes or dumb luck, that was a good day. We had a garden shopping center, and we found some new stuff. Oh, this is interesting. Was this always here? I don't know that I noticed this. My trophy thing is here now, rather than the original instructions. In any case, it's later. I think I'm still in the same episode. It's taking, like, hours to get enough footage for an episode these days. And so, between whatever you last saw and this one, I went down to the inner sanctum and I brute forced the nuance sigil, because I had most of the information. And so that door should be open now. And so if nothing else happens, we can at least go down there and check out the postcard and play out the... oh my goodness, what's it called? The Morjai box. But I'll quickly try to do a run here and just see if anything interesting is happening. Well, actually, I just made it to the foundation. I've only drafted a few rooms, and so we might as well go down and do that now. So here is Nuance. In addition to the air travel from the rays, they're military, they're green on the outside, and is that everything? I forget. So in any case, I have not walked over here yet. Is there something over here? Just weird lighting. Okay. Oh, wow. They're like futuristic space vehicles and things. Look at them go. That's amazing. Look at that. I want to live in Nuance. Neat. Neat. Alright, make sure I get a good screenshot of that. East Air Hangar. By far my favorite realm I have visited during this trip, but I have always had a penchant for technology and I'm less moved by the beauty of nature than others. The soot-filled streets and soaring skyscrapers here are just stirring to me as the mountains of Kororika or the beaches of Morajai. Perhaps I am just letting my childhood love of dirigiblocks compromise my objectivity. From the shops I have visited, it seems the series is just as popular here as it is back home. Speaking of home, as I look to the eastern sea, I can almost see its shores. I never thought that I would miss the sight of red flags. So it sounds like he's finishing things up in Nuance before returning to Fen. So this is probably the second to last. I want to try to eventually be able to do the postal code thing. So that'll make some progress there. Then over here on this side, don't think there's anything over here. So let's read about their Morjai box. The Nuance variation. Well, we already know about green. Green, the ability to instantly jump across the board. Ease of which air travel conveys its cargo. When green tiles are pressed, that tile swaps with the opposite tile on the far side of the box. Yes. So I know this. So our goal is to get 4 greens. In order to get 4 greens, some of these oranges are going to have to turn green. So I can do this, and this orange will turn green. And then I can probably train tracks this green over here. And then train tracks another green. Well, this orange should turn green now, right? I guess it needs to be surrounded orthogonally and not diagonally. So if I do this and train tracks this like this, then you'll turn green. And now I need to get the greens to the... Oh, the center green. No, that's no good. Center green I'll never be able to get out. So I have to move the orange first. And moving the orange will involve strategy, probably, somehow. How will I move that orange? I have a purple. Purple likes to move south, and so that's how I'll move the orange. I need to get the purple to the right. In order to get the purple to the right, I can get the black up here and then train car this whole row to the right. Now the purple is here. And so I could move the orange to the top. Sure, that's fine. And then I want to train car it probably somewhere. And that'll work because now I can turn the orange green since it's next to two greens. This green... that green is still going to be problematic. Purple wants to go south. How can I use that to get that green to go farther north, maybe? Not sure offhand. For now, let's get the black up top by doing this. So I'm one away. I need a green in the opposite corner. Purple wants to move south, and so I have to use that to my advantage somehow. Can I get... I don't think I can get the black in this row. And if I move the green up, I think I'm already in an unwinnable state. I was too focused on getting 4 greens and not enough focused on making sure they're not in the right row. So let's reset again. So before I turn this orange, I probably already have to, like, do some movement. Oh, I could have moved purple down to the bottom and then flip purple back up to the top. No, I was fine. I just didn't think it through. So let's do basically the same thing again, which is I want to get purple over here and push the orange down. Then I want to get the orange surrounded by greenies, which I can do like this. So now I've got my 4 greens. Then I want to move the purple down and then swap it back to the top by using green. And then I want to get black over here and push this down. That seems right. And now I've got 3 of my 4 corners. And then if I want to get the last one, if I do this, I need to train car those guys around. So what if I swap you and get you here and then do that, and that's still wrong. So how do I do this last little bit? Suppose I do this. So you need to be swapped somewhere good. So suppose I swap you, there we go, like that, and then I push these guys to the right, and now I've got 4 green corners. Did you follow all that? Purple likes to swap to the south. Black shifts the entire row to the right. Green goes across the center. And there's my allowance token. Hooray! Okay, I'll see if I can get anything good out of the rest of the run. But at this point, I still have not been able to solve Morajai or Eraja, and I still need to get one more Sanctum key to do Archeries, which ironically now I think at this point I might actually know all the information about Archeries. While I'm down here, I'll open this just in case it matters. And I don't know that I have other goals in mind for the rest of this run, so I'll bring you back if serendipity strikes. So it's weird. In the kitchen I can turn on the water. In the lavatory there is no interaction, so I wonder, does that mean you can't fill your watering can if you're in here? And also, does the lavatory have a purpose? I still don't know. I keep wanting this to be the throne, to find the king sitting on the throne or whatever is the last Sanctum key, but that doesn't seem to be happening. Well, lost and found. Night Shield will prevent me from the negative effect, so I think I can use this and not lose any items, and then still be able to go inside and see if there's anything exciting. And so has anything appeared? I don't see any new stuff. Seems to be the same old stuff. And I don't know that any of these, I bought the moon pendant earlier, and so I don't know that any of these are things that I'd want to carry forward the next day. Lucky Rabbit's Foot has some value, but I basically didn't discover anything new or noteworthy, and I think this is the last room I can draft because I don't have a key card. I'll make sure I park myself in the break room again. So let's just re-roll a number of times and see. I can take the clock tower to start with an extra key. Sure, let's just do that. It's gonna turn into an episode where there was progress that was made, but at what cost? Oh my goodness, this game is such a grind toward the end, or maybe I'm just not smart enough to figure out what I ought to actually be doing. So where was my break room? I see it. It's not far away. And is there anything else that I'd want to buy? There's nothing else that I can afford there right now. Break room's right here. So we'll park ourselves here today so that we start with keycard tomorrow. But I'm going to call it a day. And then review, like we actually had some stuff that happened this episode that I need to go and review and put in my timeline and all kinds of stuff. Alright, we had a perplexing hunting lodge. Alright, I'm going to say I hope as always that you all are having a great day, and I will see you again soon with more blueprints. For now, bye-bye.